I want to read this quote for you. It says, if this is to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then the enlightenment of the people must be the cornerstone of a truly democratic society. It is only when the masses of the people are enlightened and have enlightened self-interest that their vote in a democratic society has real meaning. That is from my welcoming remarks, my printed statement in the swearing-in booklet of the 27th legislature. And in case we're wondering, a quote from Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let me rephrase that. It has been brought to my attention that when the legislature announced, as in most places, the pending arrival of the minister, people began to, well, I can't do it. People go show me, they blog. That's what you call it? Everybody is blogging. And so one of the key staff personnel of the legislature had printed me a copy and thereby stirred my interest to at least read what they're blogging about. And so I read, and it's ironic because in these halls, we've entertained ministers, reverends, pastors, priests, even those who call themselves fathers. And don't forget, we've had the rabbi. How dare him ask me to apologize and to explain, allowing Mr. Farrakhan to speak in our chambers. Rabbi Starr, you got my phone number. It's public. My email is public. You don't have to blog me on an online paper, dear Senate President Richards. I can be found. But we allow you to pray on our floor. With no disrespect to any person of any race, any creed, any color, any religion, we allowed you to give an invocation. I told the staff when he brought it to my attention that I will have an appropriate time to address it. Obviously, this must be the time. I read the quote from our, what we had? Swearing-in booklet. I wrote it. My signature is on it. I attributed the quote to Mr. Farrakhan. I spoke last year at the University of Virgin Islands commencement, and I quoted Mr. Farrakhan. I spoke a few weeks ago on St. Croix at the UVI commencement exercise, and I quoted Mr. Farrakhan, like others, like Einstein. I believe I quote him too. My chief of staff is a member of the Nation of Islam. So, and I'm an equal opportunity employer. Because I got Seventh-day Adventists, I got Moravians, I got Catholics, and they all work in my office. You know, I moved to recall our experiences, as Brother Emmanuel adaptly and adequately and pointedly put it as 27 years. I was not a business major, but I like shorthand. So I just simply say more than 2 decades ago, when the minister came to our shores and simply wanted to speak. And public facilities belonging to taxpayers like us who are here and like those of us who are watching and listening were being denied as a place from which the minister can just simply speak. It took the intervention of the members of the Virgin Islands Board of Education, led by then board member, now delegate to Congress, then Donna Green, now Donna Christensen, to intervene as a member of the board and to demand public facilities like St. Croix Central High School Gymnasium, now known as Ronald Charles Arena, be opened so that we could hear the minister speak. How ironic that almost 3 decades later, we're not begging for a place for the minister to speak. The minister is going to speak from the People's Building. In accordance with the statute. It has been said that how dare them spend our taxpayers' money and paying and bringing Mr. Farrakhan to the legislature. It would be a real concern if it was true. We are blessed people. We are so blessed that I can inform you, and those who are writing can get it right. The legislature has not spent 1 red cent to have Mr. Farrakhan here. But it was the minister himself that said, well, you know what, I'll be docking with Tom Joyner Cruz on your island. And I would like to speak. I didn't invite him to speak. He asked to speak. He knows it's been a long time that he's spoken in, what do you call him, the America's Paradise? America's Playground, now America's Caribbean. Oh, now he's welcome to our Virgin Islands home. He said something some 20 years ago that I still trying to remember. He says, there is a distinct difference between black politicians and blacks in politics. There is a distinct difference. We are here because we are prepared not only to walk with our brother in the cool of the night, but we will be there in the heat of the day, without hiding. You know, it reminds me of the story in the Bible when we think of what happened more than a couple decades ago, where Mary wanted an interstate so she could give birth to Jesus. And she traveled all over, her and Joseph, and there's no room at the inn. I think Mary had to resort to a barn to get some rest. Remind me of the days of our good old friend, God bless him in his passing, Mr. Fred Clark, referring to this building as the Little Green Barn. And so today, we have a messenger that's going to give birth to a message in this barn. It reminds me when I was going through the blog of this statement the minister made. He says, for far too long I've been acting like a faithful toilet, allowing all kind of people to sit their big butt down on me, mess all over me. And I sat back and I said nothing. But there comes a time, like a woman in travail, that you gotta cry out and say something. We get into that time. We get into that time. And just as written in the Bible that Jesus rode on the ass. I'm sorry, y'all wanna hear the donkey? But there was this ass that also fell into a ditch. Well, the donkey was down there in that ditch. Men, women, children would pass by. They throw sticks and stones and taunt that donkey because he can't get out. But there came a time also that they threw so many sticks, they threw so many stones that the ass just walked out. We are at that time. He spoke of education and its root origin in the word educo, which means to give birth, to lead out, to move from night to day. Today is our day. We are about to have an education, an enlightenment, and a discussion. I don't know what the minister was asking me what he should talk about. I was simply interested in the fact that he just ought to talk. Without any further ado, please rise and welcome the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the National Representative of the Nation of Islam. Our brother.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, We give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family, that whenever any member of the human family strays from his path and earns his disfavor, before he punishes them, he always raises from among that people a prophet or a messenger, and he gives that prophet or that messenger what is called divine revelation to guide that people back to his path, that they might once again enjoy his favor. We thank God for Moses and the Israelite prophets that gave us the Old Testament. We thank Allah for Jesus, who gave us the gospel. And we thank Allah for Muhammad, peace be upon all of these worthy servants. He gave us the Holy Quran. I am a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I could never thank Allah enough for his intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, for his wisdom and wise choice of a man from among us to lead, teach, and guide us, the lost sheep, lost from our native land and people, the lost brother who is in such a condition today that the world wonders, can we really ever rise? The enemy has put us in such a terrible condition, but they fear the presence of one thing. It's not guns. They have all the guns that can be imagined. But when you've built your world on falsehood, when you have destroyed the lives of people with false ideas and concepts, then the one thing that the enemy will always be afraid of is the presence of truth. And someone unafraid to speak that truth regardless of the consequences, even if it means your life. Nothing is more important in this world than truth. The heavens and the earth are built on truth. And the only thing that can sustain the heavens and the earth is truth. And the thing that has destroyed black people, African people, is a loss of certain truths that must be spoken in order for us to truly be liberated. I am thankful to Allah to be here with you, and I greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. But this is the language of Jesus and the language of the prophets. He never said hi. He never said what's happening. He knew what was happening. He wanted those who were around him and those who heard him to enjoy peace. So in Hebrew, he says, Shalom Aleichem. And in Arabic, Salam Alaikum, or Aramaic. So I greet you in that language of Jesus because I wish us peace. That peace that the scripture says passeth all understanding. That peace that makes us a united family. That peace that gives us the power to remove any impediment from our path. I am so honored to be here with you today. our esteemed Honorable Senate President, Brother U.C. Richards. And I want to thank the members of the Senate who make the laws that govern this beautiful island paradise for some. But with God's help, we hope we can make it a paradise for all. I enjoyed the remarks of Brother Gerard Emmanuel and Brother Kaumba Leba Olani. They really spoke very powerfully and truthfully to us. And I just will add just a few little things to what my dear esteemed brothers had to say. And I want to thank you for receiving my wife and my family. As Senator has said, my wife always, every April, she has to be here for Carnival. And it's my parents, and I must say that I owe a deep debt of gratitude to the West Indies, to the Caribbean. For the Caribbean gave me my father, my mother, my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, my great-grandmother and grandfather. I love these islands. And I love the people that inhabit these islands. And though I work a lot in the United States of America, I will never feel that I've done the job that God brought me here to do unless I complete my journey, my life's journey, with some help and guidance to the Caribbean that gave me life. You are a wonderful people. And you must now rise to that which God is calling you to. I thank Senator U.C. for explaining